Hey everybody, this is John from the Flutter team. Have you upgraded your packages lately? Well, I've got some updates from the Dart team that might be enough to convince you. The Build Runner package is part of a group of packages from the Dart team that let you generate Dart code by introspecting existing code. You can find builders for a variety of use cases like JSON serialization or data classes. And when you use a builder, you can save yourself from writing a lot of boilerplate code by generating these new Dart libraries. For example, this function that handles JSON encoding, it looks like the boilerplate that I don't want to think about. So the Build Runner package makes it easy for packages like JSON serializable to introspect your Dart program and generate Dart code for you. In this example, the JSON encoding and decoding is done in a part library, which groups the generated code into the same library so that our class can use it. But this extra code generation comes at a cost. Every time I make a change to this library, I need to run Build Runner to regenerate my helper libraries or run the build in the background using watch. And as you can imagine, as my project grows bigger, that becomes a lot of code that might need to be generated. So earlier this year, the Dart team identified improvements that they could make to the build package and have been working hard on it. And here are the numbers we're seeing so far. For a project with 3,000 generated libraries, the code gets generated twice as fast. This is thanks to a ground-up rewrite of Build Runner's transitive import tracking. There's also an upcoming feature called augmentations that will reduce even more boilerplate, which we'll talk about more later in this video. And you can start using it today, as long as your packages are up to date, but we'll talk about that later too. So let's try it out and see what's new. The Build Runner package provides a standard way for packages to generate Dart code from other Dart code. For example, I might want to define a data class and let a builder write the operator equal and hash code functions for me. For example, the freezed package can implement data classes by implementing object equality, toString, hash code, and copy with functions automatically. Or like we saw earlier, I might use the JSON serializable package to generate Dart code that handles JSON encoding and decoding for these same classes. So that's an overview of what Build Runner does. Now let's see what's changed. So the first thing I want to do is check what version I'm currently using. I can quickly type dart pub deps to see the version of the build package that I have, and I'm going to use the compact option so that I can show you. So I can see that it's using Build Runner version 2.4.15, which is a little out of date. So let's run a build and see how long it takes. Now let's upgrade to the latest version, which will be 2.10.4 for me. But you should use whatever the latest version is for you watching this video. You can start by running dart pub upgrade and checking that you've got the latest version. Now let's run another build. This time, I don't need to use the delete conflicting outputs flag, which saves me some time. This project has 100 libraries using JSON serialization, and it runs a lot faster. And the console output looks a lot nicer too, in my opinion. And this isn't a new feature, but Build Runner caches the previous build. So if I just change one of these libraries, it only rebuilds that one. Also not a new feature, but you can also run dart run build runner watch, and it runs a file watcher that rebuilds if you change a file. And we're excited to see that you're starting to use these improvements already through Dart's open source package ecosystem. Here's what we're hearing online. For example, this person is seeing a 2x speed up for clean builds. That's awesome. So now I want to show you some additional packages that I tested. Like I said earlier, there's a helpful list of packages listed on the Build Runner README. Here's a package that uses built value, which provides immutable value types. Or here's an example that uses freezed, which generates code for working with data classes like toString, operator equals, hash code, copy with, and more. And finally, here's a project that uses the GoRouter builder package to parse route paths in a type-safe way. But in these 3 examples, I saw some nice improvements. Earlier in the video, I mentioned a feature called augmentations, which were designed alongside the macros feature. Well, the good news is that augmentations is still on the roadmap, and they'll be able to reduce even more boilerplate. So let's take our original JSON example and see what it would look like with augmentations. Today, your class needs to add the toJSON and fromJSON functions by hand, but these functions are implemented in the generated part file like this. But now with augmentations, the build can add members to the original class directly using the augment keyword. The builder can inject new members or provide bodies for incomplete members in a class. So here we're adding the toJSON and fromJSON functions, so our class now looks like this. The parts with imports feature allows these part files to define their own imports. For example, to import and use the json.decode function from the Dart convert library. And one more exciting feature is called primary constructors, which allow us to place the parameter list for our class immediately after the class name, and Dart will declare the fields on our class for us. I'm really excited for these new language features because they're really going to help with reducing boilerplate and saving me from making mistakes in my code. So whether you've got a small project with some JSON parsing or a huge project with multiple different types of builders, these updates help make working with your Dart code a little nicer. We know that code generation is a critical part of the development cycle for a lot of you. So the Dart team is continuing to invest in making it faster and more robust without replacing what already works. So what are you waiting for? Go out and try the latest version of the Build Runner package. That's all for now. For all things Flutter, head to flutter.dev, and for all things Dart, head to dart.dev.